I already did. Go.
Alright, Jeep heads. What I got here is a 1961 Willis Jeep CJ5. All steel, all original body. The frame is solid, hasn't been molested. It does have, of course, it's been used, it's been played with. It's got a lot of dings and scratches and chips. Has a little bit of rust right here. Rest of that is just dirt. It doesn't go through, just a little bit of bubbling, it would grind out. You can see that the soft top is completely gone. The seam's all split out, the zipper started coming apart. It's a KB top. If you're a Jeeper, you know they went out of business about 30 years ago, so this one has gone long beyond its expended lifetime. As far as I can tell, it's been painted once. It was repainted to factory color, with the exception of the neat, cool, and pitch and racing stripe on the hood. Some more fun in the wood dent. The bumper, you could take it down with some Scotch-Brite and a coat of Rust-Oleum, but it's there, it's solid. It's original Willis because it has the crank hole. Anything on this side? Somewhere along the way someone added a radio, so it's got a hole in it for a radio antenna. I never bothered putting a radio in it because when you're out in the woods, what do you got to listen to the radio for? A little bit of rust on this side right here. Again, it doesn't go all the way through, but everything else is solid. That would clean up fairly easy. Passenger side mirror is broken. Might be a deal breaker. But that's what happens when you're out on the trail and your back tire throws a rock. The only place that I know of that has any filler is right here. And if you're an old Jeeper, you know this is where the factory spare tire mount went. I don't know if it looks like all they did was put something over it before they painted it to fill the holes from the spare tire mount, but the fender is solid. Old Willis, you can always spot the original soft top mount.
Where?
Old school Jeep's got the tailgate. The toe panel actually came off of an Army M151 Jeep. I picked it up somewhere years ago and finally had something to put it on. I just thought it kind of looked good there, and it's a real solid point to get pulled out when you get yourself into something nasty. Inside it's got an aftermarket roll bar that was added somewhere along the line. It's in there pretty solid. I got a spare wheel that goes with it. The tire's shot. All you really got is a rim. It'd need new valve stem and a tire, but I needed one and I picked that one up for nothing, and it fits. As you can see, the dashboard, the original speedometer gave up on me right after I bought it, but it's got a bunch of aftermarket gauges: oil temperature, ammeter, water temperature, volts, and an aftermarket fuel gauge. They all work. Got a little sun tachometer in there. And that really neat, cool 1960s aftermarket custom steering wheel. You can see the hole in the dash where somebody had an AM radio in it once upon a time. I don't have it. And you can really see just how bad the soft top is. The back window completely shattered on me one winter, and never bothered with it. Was always going to put a bikini top on it. The original speedometer is still laying there if you want the pieces of it. Like I said, it just came apart on me one day. Soft top, like I said, was a KB. I'm told that the rugged ridge tops are the same pattern, so it would just be a matter of hanging it over it. Kind of an interesting thing. I don't know if it was homemade or not, but the bows for the soft top are made out of electrical conduit. But they're very functional and they've done the job over the years. But again, the windows, you can't see through the back windows at all anymore. The seams are all ripped out. The doors are on there, complete. Latch. I've driven it in the winter just like it is. Never had any real problems out of it. I stayed comfortable enough. Let's take a look under the hood. This is where it stands out from the other 1961 Willys you're going to look at. That's a 1957 Chevrolet 283 engine. The intake and carb are Edelbrock Performer. It has an HEI ignition. The mounts on it are kind of unique because 57 Chevys did not have motor mounts on the sides, they were on the front. And when this was installed, that's how they mounted it, with a front mount. But because of where the front mount is, you can't put a mechanical fuel pump on it. So it runs an electric fuel pump that's up under the body. You got the custom, Cal Custom from Kmart air cleaner cover that rusts every year. I polish it, it rusts. But for $5 it has done the job for many years. Battery was installed in 2013. 1913? No, 2013 I installed the battery, so it's probably getting towards the end of its life, but it does start and does run with it. It did come originally 12 volt. It still has a generator in it. I don't know if it was the original generator, but I had it rebuilt by a company in Fort Collins, Colorado about 4 or 5 years ago. It has never given me any trouble. I only had it rebuilt then to have new bearings put in it so it wouldn't. If you're going to start adding a bunch of lights and stuff to this, you're going to have to upgrade to an alternator, but the original charging system still works, still has the external Delco-Ramy voltage regulator and generator, but it does the job. The radiator is a Chevrolet radiator as best I can tell, but the neat thing is the radiator shroud on here, the fan shroud, is a custom made. An aircraft structures mechanic designed and built that for me. It's a one of a kind, it's very solid and does a very good job. Over here, again, the dealer installed original 1961 heater plenum. The heater core is inside there. You can get to it real easy if you ever wanted to. From the factory it would have had, or from the dealer, it would have had a hose from here to the grill for fresh air, but because of the size of the radiator doesn't need it. It works extremely well without it. The engine's tight. It hasn't been cleaned at all ever since I had it, so you can see that it's not leaking anywhere up top. A little bit around the valve covers, mostly from sitting, but it's not smoking. It doesn't burn a lot of oil. Got the ram's horn exhaust manifolds, which dump down into a set of racing mufflers. Now it is a manual choke. So you'd have to, if you've never used one, you'd have to learn how that works, but let's give it a start. As you can hear, there's no clicking or knocking. Start right up. It's idling. I got the idle set a little bit higher than normal, just because in the wintertime it warms up faster that way. But you could turn it down a bit, but there it is. Not a lot of shaking or rattling around. As you can see, sitting at idle, the temperature's just a little bit hotter. It's about 85 degrees here right now. The water temperature is showing it's just now starting to come up. It's a mechanical water temperature gauge that reads all the time, but you can see we're running between 20 and 25 pounds of oil pressure at idle and steady. The amp gauge, you can see that the generator is generating. Twin stick transfer case, 4-speed transmission, aftermarket volt gauge, and an aftermarket fuel gauge, because when the speedometer went, so did my gas gauge. Then, like I said, manual choke, headlight switch, oh my god bar. Got the heater control is down here. Again, these are all the lights that used to plug into the speedometer. They're still there. If you wanted to buy a speedometer, a stock speedometer, and put it in there, you can plug it all back in. There's the dealer heater control. It does switch between heat and defrost and off. The temperature adjust cable is kind of frozen right now. It's a standard steel wound choke cable type, so it'd be easy and cheap to replace, or just take it apart, clean it, and lube it. Just another one of those things I haven't gotten around to. It does have the defroster duct on the windshield. Now the duct between the plenum in that is gone, but if you press the defrost button when it's heated up, you will feel air coming up there, and it does clear the windows on a cold day. I've driven this extensively at sub-zero temperatures and never had any problems. The windshield wipers were converted to electric. There's two of them on a common switch, but you can turn them off individually. So if you run two. It's not plated or insured right now, so I can't go too far, but I'm going to go ahead and take it out in the street, let you see it run around, show you that all the lights work, and then I'll bring it back in.